Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Retro Radio. This is the Carcast after SC's 29-10 win over the UCLA Bruins at the Coliseum. The Trojans are 9-3. We're going to talk about that and so much more here on this episode. As always, you can follow us on social media at Rant of Troy. Email us, rantoftroy@fanside.com. Phone number 818-643-7227. Suck at What's Bruin Show. Especially tonight. I'm your host, Mike Castillo, joined along with my co-host here in the Rant Line studio in Los Angeles, powered by Fansided, Alicia Artola.
Hello, everybody.
Hello! Welcome! Alicia, I want to start somewhere. We usually start a Carcast with you going on your monologue. First 10, 15 minutes is you.
Mm-hmm.
As it should be. You are the star of the show. I'm going to preempt this.
Oh, wow.
A little throwback. Through August 25th. You have them at 7-5.
This is how much of an optimist I am, guys. I gave a trigger warning about how down on USC I am, and I still am picking 7-5.
I mean, 7-5 is not optimistic.
No, but like, you know, I can't even go.
It's an improvement on last season.
Yes, that's my point. Yeah. That's my point.
No, okay, so the way I look at it, like, I have an 8-4 prediction with losses to the obvious losses, Oregon and Notre Dame, and then I have road losses to Illinois and Nebraska. I think realistically, 9-3 with losses to Oregon and Notre Dame, and you split the Illinois-Nebraska games, if that was what you offered me right now today for SC's schedule of results, I would take that. I would take it. Split Illinois and Nebraska, win all your home games. Interesting. And you lose Oregon and Notre Dame. Would you take that? Would you take that deal?
Would I take 9-3? Yes.
9-3 with the Illinois-Nebraska split.
Absolutely, yes.
No, I agree. All right, you agree. You take 9-3. Welcome.
Yeah, I'll take 9-3. 9-3 is fine. I don't feel like this is the gotcha. It
is a gotcha. It is a gotcha.
I've said all along, 9-3 is an objectively good record. I think that there's a deeper study that I would like to do. Probably during this break between now and the bowl game, about the level of USC's road splits and the questions I have about USC's road performances and whether they are as abnormal as they feel like they are in terms of, just in terms of like home road situation. Mm-hmm. I think there's some interesting things that we could still discover by looking back on this season in totality, but 9-3 is really solid. 10-3 will be great. I will be happy with 10-3. 10-3 would
given two seasons in which you've lost games that you definitely had no business losing.
Yes. Only losing one of those is but
I still say that like
improvement. Yes.
Illinois is not Maryland. The Illinois game is not the Maryland game.
Yeah, it's not the Maryland game.
It's not the losing a game.
Illinois was far and away the third best. It's not the same
type of losing a game that you shouldn't have lost. You know what I mean?
Illinois was far and away the third best road opponent that USC played this year, where Maryland was the worst road opponent that USC played last year. Yeah. So,
right.
And the Lizard King says, had it not been for food poisoning, USC would be 10-2 and CFP bound.
So
I suppose you can, if that's what you want to believe, I think that's a perfectly reasonable thing to believe. Yeah. I am less convinced that food poisoning was the reason that USC lost to Illinois.
I will say this. I think there is some sort of validity to what Sark said after the Texas win over A&M, and that essentially they're getting punished for losing to Ohio State. But I also think that it's a convenient ass excuse to sit here and say that, because SC could be saying the same thing. If SC was not brave and did not schedule Notre Dame, then SC's in the playoff as a 10-2 team. It's the same exact situation. If SC plays Indiana State instead of Notre Dame, SC's in the playoff. But does that make SC a better team? No. Does that make the season better?
No, and that's my I think what I would say is if USC didn't play Notre Dame and got into the playoff, they would have gone in concealing that they aren't a playoff team, which the Notre Dame, Oregon, and Illinois games proved that USC is not a playoff team. And if your schedule is the difference between you being a playoff team or not, to me, that's, like you said, that's a cop-out. Texas had opportunities to win the games that would have put them in the playoff. They lost to Florida.
Yeah.
That's, again, just like USC.
It's not the same situation because Texas lost games they had no business losing to.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. They got their ass kicked at Georgia, but that's way more understandable than the Florida loss.
Yeah, you just can't lose to Florida. It's that simple. And USC couldn't lose to Illinois. It's that simple. But at the same time, I think that my feelings about this 9-3 are very much that 9-3 is an acceptable record for a standard USC season. 10 wins is still on the table, and that is a significant achievement potential for this team. But I Jason in the chat summed up where I'm at, which is what I said last week. Yeah. Jason said, I think Alicia put it well last week. Now is not the time, but we need to get to the point where we just stop saying, well, Notre Dame, Oregon, Ohio State are automatic losses.
Yes. And I will say this too. Before the season, I talked about I want to see SC be the Penn State chalk team that beats all the teams that they should. There's no toe stubbings. Mm-hmm. And if you're going to lose to somebody, make those losses be to somebody who has an argument to beat you, right?
Yeah.
And because that's been the Penn State thing. Penn State beats everybody, but they lose to Ohio State and Michigan, which is understandable in a grand scheme of things, right? But I think that being the case for 2025 makes all the sense in the world. Going into next season, that same thing does not apply. So I'm completely with you. It applies in a season in which you've lost a ton of games that you had no business losing. Mm-hmm. So you need to show that you've taken the step forward to at least eliminate the toe stubbings. But okay, well, next year's schedule is hard, but you also get almost all those hard games at home. Well, you should not be over on all the hard games, in part because almost all of them are at home next year. So show that you can, take the next step forward.
It goes back to your assessment of the season, in the season predictions episode, which was, you expect to lose to Notre Dame and Oregon, and then you just got to split Nebraska and Illinois, right? We need to get to a point where we're not talking about splitting Illinois and Nebraska. We need to start talking about splitting Indiana, Oregon, Ohio State.
Correct.
You have to win at least one of those.
Right.
And that's progression. But like I said, I think that at a certain point, I am content with 9-3. I am not content with the state of the program. I have already said my opinions of Lincoln Riley and whether or not I think he's going to lead USC to the promised land. Don't need to repeat that. But 9-3 is an objectively solid season. 10-3 would be an objectively successful season. And I think that, in the end, beating your rival, as ugly as that first half was, I did not enjoy that first half at all. But what did we say? We said that USC has been, for much of the season now, a second half team, and the question continued to be how long could they keep this up? How real is this second half defense? And they've proven week after week after week that the second half defense is legit. They looked vulnerable against UCLA in the first half, and they completely shut them down in the second half.
Yeah.
And a USC offense that, despite playing well in the first half, but failing to score points because reasons, came out in the second half and they finished off their drives and they put this game away. And that's all you can ask for in a rivalry game against UCLA. Would we all have loved 50-0? Absolutely. I would have loved 50-0.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, like, Alabama just beat Auburn, a 5-7 Auburn, 27-20 in the final minute. Like, ugly win, rivalry, ugly wins are what they are. I think that in the end, if you beat your rival, you're good. And that's what USC did in the end here against a UCLA team that it did feel like it was going to be tricky because the road team has won this game more often in the last 5 years than the home team has. UCLA got Nico Imaliva back. USC didn't have Bishop Fitzgerald or Kamari Ramsey. And USC ended up having to suspend their two best players on offense for the first quarter, which still don't have the exact details on what happened there, but you have to assume they screwed up sometime during the week, whether it was being late to a meeting or a practice or class or whatever it is. Mm-hmm. You know, I actually really like, given my opinion of the coaching staff at this point, I actually really respect the balls it takes to force Makai Lemon and Jacoby Lane to stand on the sideline for an entire quarter of the last game of the season, a rivalry game, a game where Makai Lemon realistically could be looking at, you know, sealing the Biletnikoff. Like, it is a ballsy, hard-ass move to put them on that sideline for that long. And I loved that. Like, that's one of the first signs of truly, you know, hard-assness that we've seen from USC when it comes to the discipline thing. And, you know, in the end, I don't think that them sitting out in the first half was why USC didn't score more in the first half. I think it was a more, you know, broad, weird offense situation, and obviously the special teams thing. But but no, the you know, I think that ugly wins in rivalry games are perfectly fine, especially when that ugly win is a 19-point win as opposed to, like, you know, scraping by with a one possession win or anything like that. Yeah. And I thought that we saw a lot of things from players that we've wanted to see. I mean, Jaden Mayaba throws a horrific interception, gets bailed out about it, which, you know, eventually you will get bailed out, so that's fine. But he's 21 of 29 for 257 yards and 2 touchdowns. Really good game from him. King Miller is as fantastic as King Miller has been all season. 124 yards, 2 touchdowns. He also led USC in receiving receptions with four catches, 42 yards. Like, I love watching a game where King Miller is the main man. Like, give me King Miller as the main man for the rest of time. The tight ends were really big in this game. McCree and Lyons both had their big moments. It you know, it was nice to see Jaden Richardson get the kind of run that he got, and you know, Tanook and all those guys. Defensively, we saw Alex Graham be out there and look really stable in that nickel spot, and look like he is the player that we sort of hoped he might be as a true freshman coming in and earning that job. So there was a lot to like in this game. There was also a lot to be miserable about. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Like, the first half was very not fun. But USC is 9-3. That's ultimately what matters. USC gets to probably go to the Alamo Bowl, probably face BYU, which will be a tough opponent to face in a bowl game. And if USC can manage to get a win out of that bowl game the way that they did against Texas A&M and turn a 6-6 record into a 7-6 record, if USC turns a 9-3 record into a 10-3 record with a win over BYU in the bowl, those will be the signs of life that I need to see going into next season, which everyone seems to agree is the show me season.
Yeah.
And I will be much more confident about the Show Me season being viable if, especially given USC's road struggles, especially especially the Texas of it all. Reminder that USC has not won in the state of Texas since 1996. There have been 6 games in that time, by the way. Like, it will be impressive if USC gets that monkey off their back in Texas. In fact, I don't want to put. We can't assume it's the Alamo Bowl. It's likely the Alamo Bowl, and I don't want to put too much pressure on that game because it is a bowl game and guys will sit out and all that kind of stuff. But that would be a perfect time to get that monkey off your back before going into next season with, you got home games against Ohio State and Oregon, but you'll be on the road to Indiana. You'll be on the road to Penn State. And you need to show more signs of life on the road than you've been showing recently. So that would be a really, really good start. And I think that USC is progressing. They're progressing.
That hurt to say?
Well, I'm looking at the CFB stats, and as I was saying progressing, my eyes were on 27-42 to Oregon, which was literally a week ago. And I was like, well, I mean, they are progressing. Yeah. Maybe not as quickly as I would like, but I will not deny that they are progressing.
Yeah, my takeaway on tonight's game is that it went very similarly to sort of how I expected. My game prediction was 34-20. I thought that there was going to be a little bit of that it was going to be a slog, and it was going to be maybe a little bit of a funk after the Oregon game. I don't necessarily think that there was a funk in this game, because I think one of the reasons that the game ended up being so boring in the first half, or so blah, is just because there were so few possessions. There were so few possessions in this game. SC was never going to score 50 points in this game because they didn't have enough possessions to do so. You know what I mean? There were
only 3. Each team only had, usually in the first in a half, the
6 or 7 possessions.
The low end of the number of possessions is 4 each.
Yeah,
and it was realistically it was 3 each. USC
3.
Technically gets a 4th, but they have 15 seconds on the clock, so it's not really.
Yeah, really. It was extremely small in terms of the margins there, and so when you miss 2 field goals, it really makes it seem like the issues are bigger than they are. And we talked about at halftime that I wasn't necessarily worried about SC's performance. They were losing at halftime, but this is a second half team. They have proven that is the case time and time and time again this season. At home against Iowa, at home against Northwestern, and you look in the second half of the game, it wasn't flashy, but SC did what they have done, A, in home games, and B, in the second half, which is keep teams out of the end zone as best as you can and finish off your drives and take care of business and use the uptick in defensive performance in the second half to allow time for the offense to finish off their drives and separate. And that's what they did. And the other side of it is this as cathartic as the 50-0 game in 2011? No. But I will say, in my lifetimes, there have been so few UCLA ass kickings. I feel like the vast majority of SC UCLA games that SC wins are this. Almost always it's this.
Well, I think, okay, so there was 50-0, and then the 70...
66-19.
66-19.
Yes.
But then
there was the 52-21 in 2002.
There was
the 27-0 in 2001. But
24-7.
There's a lot of 24-7s, 28-14s.
Yeah.
Those type of things. 2017, was that a 27-24 or 27-23? Something like that. There's a lot of those type of games. You look at 2004. 2004, if I remember right, it's 29-24 with 5 Ryan Killeen field goals. Is that right? This is what this rivalry is. It's an ugly rivalry. It's a rivalry that we enjoy because of the history and because of the localness. And we all know UCLA fans, and all UCLA fans know SC fans, and you work with somebody who went to the other school. All those type of things is great. But in my lifetime, there's been like 3 good games. The rest are ugly watches. And this was like basically falling in line with a lot of that. And when you win 29-10, in which you dominate the second half, and yes, you get the benefit of the doubt on a interception that Jaden Mayava throws. Second time this year in which he throws an interception and gets bailed out in some sort of way, this time by 2 penalties against UCLA. It's like, yeah, things go your way, but you got to take advantage of things going your way too.
The thing is, things have been going USC's way all season. Like, things went USC's way at time against Oregon, at times against Notre Dame, at times against Illinois. And there is a difference in this performance where something went their way and then USC paid it off.
Yeah.
Because they went down and scored.
Right.
You know, like, that is something that I don't want to minimize. That, like, yeah, UCLA bailed Mayava out. Absolutely, they bailed Mayava out. They also really stupidly hit him well after he threw the pass.
Yeah.
And deserved to have that interception wiped out.
The roughing the passer part of that is the part where, like, if I'm Jake, I'd rip my hair out, but Jake doesn't have any hair. So, like, he can't do that. But
if it was just the PI, and it was a PI where, like, I don't think that actually impacted whether or not the interception happened, that's one thing.
I think you could feel more hard done as a UCLA fan.
But the roughing the passer is textbook. Like, there's just no arguing it. So, we did get a message from Dan, who's been a RoT Squad member for 33 months. Rose Alamo baby. Alamo Bowl baby.
Yeah. Alamo Bowl
baby.
Alamo Bowl baby. We'll have to have Darlene call in and
Alamo Bowl baby it.
And redo that one. Yeah. Remember,
we're also going to need to have Kenny call back in.
Yeah.
Because the SEC.
Oh no, I can't believe SC went 9-3. I don't know. I don't know what it should be. Yeah. Kenny, do that, and Darlene, do that. Call in, and we'll update things. SC wins the game, and I think that, like, they did it in the most fitting way possible, which is the way that they've played this season for the vast majority of it, which is what Danny's
sorry.
Message? About the
Danny said talk about the women in San Antonio.
I am not Charles Barkley. That's on Barkley.
That's good.
That's not for me to get into. That's Barkley.
That's
Barkley
good.
can do that.
Yeah, we will leave talking about the women in San Antonio to Charles Barkley. That will not be a topic that comes up on this
The hilarious part is when we wake up tomorrow,
it's not the Alamo Bowl.
We wake up next Sunday and then realize that it's the Holiday Bowl again. The Alamo Bowl is like, we really loved when Utah came here. We're going to take Utah over. I don't think there's a world in which that happens.
We can definitely go to the Holiday Bowl, and I will be dressing as though we are heading out to, like, Minnesota in the middle of January. But yeah.
Marcelo in the chat. Oh, I can't believe USC is 9-3. It has to go to some notable progress, but still has a way to go. Oh, I guess Kenny next season. Yeah, that could work. That could work. The other thing that we need to remember, if it is the Alamo Bowl, it's the Valero Alamo Bowl.
The Valero Alamo
Which
Bowl.
doesn't have the same...
It's not the same.
It doesn't have the same
We know
aura
what Valero does.
SRS distribution.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no aura there. Yeah. It's just the Venezuelan oil company. Yeah. Like, it's not as cool. It's not as cool. All right. Any other game thoughts before we sort of walk through the box score a little bit?
I mean, it was the rivalry game. That's all it was.
Sure.
The only other game thought I have is honestly, genuinely, I accept that USC is the second half team on defense, particularly. I accept that. I still do not understand why USC is a second half team. As far as like why they are capable of shutting teams out in the second half and completely incapable of doing the same in the first half. It doesn't make a lot of sense. I don't understand it.
Yeah. Well, especially statistically, this one was a little bit different than the ones we've seen before.
Yeah, because yards per play and stuff weren't that.
Yards per play and total yardage and all that stuff is not drastically different at all. The difference is the rush defense. UCLA only ran for 2.8 yards per carry in the second half. Mind you, there's 4 SC sacks that are in there, but that means that UCLA only ran the ball 8 times.
Those sacks mean you're also getting pressure where USC had struggled in the first half to get pressure.
Yes, and UCLA was 2 of 7 on third down.
The one thing I'll say, and I can't remember if we saw this in the third quarter too, but certainly late, it felt like USC was, not just felt, they were running a defensive front with Devin Tompkins on the outside again.
Yeah.
And I certainly don't remember seeing that in the first half. Maybe they were. I just don't remember it. But we saw that also in previous games in the second half. And it's like, at what point do you just start games with Devin Tompkins on the edge? Like, I don't know. It seems to be working for you every time you do it in the second half.
This is what I'm saying about Estevao at right wing.
What, like, why not just start
Maresca? He's a brilliant manager. But I'd like to see Estevao start at right wing tomorrow morning at the Emirates. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just start there. Just start there from the beginning.
I think Arne Slot is a good manager, and all I would like is for him to.
Well, Paul wants to know if Lincoln can stay, Slot has to go. What say you? I don't know, but we did get a couple super chats.
Yeah.
Dan says if it's the Gronk Bowl, use this money to buy a suite.
We legitimately talked about this last year, and I am low key sad that we won't get to even consider it again this year.
If SC ever goes to the Gronk Bowl, we will get a suite and do like a RoT.
I mean, we even talked about doing, because wasn't UCLA in the Gronk Bowl last year? Like, we even talked about getting a suite last year and just doing it regardless of who's in the game. And I'm pretty sure it didn't work out from like my work schedule, but
yeah,
it's trust us, it is a thought. It is a thought. What if we did a RoT meetup in a suite at the Gronk Bowl?
to watch Cal play against Fresno State or something? Yeah. I don't know. We got another one. Los Pocos 07 says, appreciate all of you that you do. Hope for a better 2026. We appreciate you. Thank you. We appreciate you.
Thank you very much.
We will be here next year. Absolutely. 1,000%. Did we get...
We got another one.
Did this one just pop? There it goes.
Yeah, SJ.
Yeah, SJ and Santa Barbara. Thanks, guys. Thank you. We appreciate you. It's been a fun season. I'm excited that we don't have to record 3 times next week. That's fun. 4 times if you include the watch along. I love doing this. I will say there becomes a part during the season where you're like, oh man, like, can there be a 3rd bye week? Little perk of the no conference championship game. It's only one
episode next week. Yeah,
this week, which will be nice, but we'll see how that goes. Of course, we'll be here on Monday. Also, there's a link in the show notes in the doobly-doo in the description for the Rotometer. You guys chime in your thoughts after the UCLA game. We want to know what you guys think about your vibes for the Trojans. Where are your vibes right now after the UCLA game, having gotten to 9-3? We don't have to talk about 9-3 in the if sense anymore.
By the way, CBS Sports' current projection for the Alamo Bowl is USC versus Houston.
See, this would be interesting because Alicia, SC's last win in the state of Texas at Houston in the Astrodome. John Allred catches 10 passes, sets a USC record for tight end receptions.
The Los Angeles Bowl which I don't know if Gronk is doing it again this
I think that is the Gronk Bowl or something.
San Diego State, Arizona. I would go to that game.
It'd be a good basketball game.
That's not a bad matchup.
It'd be a good basketball game.
It's on December 13th.
God, that's 2 weeks.
Yeah.
You know how much that would suck? Like
if you were
like bowl practice and stuff like that. You just get none. Yeah. Especially because they won't know they
won't know it until next week. They
won't know it until next week for sure. But I'm sure that I wonder if it's one of those things where they'll back channel it and be like, "Hey, you guys, you're gonna be going to this game next week."
I'm already scheduled to work that day.
Womp.
Lame.
Womp womp womp. One of the things that I bummed we didn't talk about with Jake, even though Marcelo hates Jake, is that UCLA moving to SoFi. Today's game obviously was at the Coliseum, so like it's not like that was a storyline at all. But next year, if SC ends up having to play UCLA at SoFi, it'll be SC's first game ever at SoFi. But also, the rivalry no longer going to be played in the Rose Bowl, assuming that all goes through and whatnot. So like we should have got his take on that kind of stuff. Does that change the rivalry for you? Here's a question. I don't believe in this, but I'm just going to throw this out. How would you feel about making the rivalry game neutral site?
I would not feel good about that because I want the game at the Coliseum.
I agree. I think if you have a neutral site bowl game, you need a good reason or venue for it. Like the Cotton Bowl for Red River is perfect. It makes a lot of sense. It's geographically between the two schools, and it's a historical venue. Makes sense.
Yeah, but
SoFi for this would suck.
Yeah, there isn't.
It'd be soulless.
There isn't a good venue that makes sense. It doesn't.
Yeah. Now, played at the Rose Bowl as a neutral site venue would make more sense.
I mean, yeah, but at that point,
it would make more sense. But still, like the history of the game is at the Coliseum. Like they used to share the Coliseum for 50-something years. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I would still rather have instead of every year at the Rose Bowl, I would rather it be Coliseum SoFi.
Yeah.
The
thing that blows my mind is I feel like you and I are at the perfect age for sports because our formative years began right after modern sports was basically formed. The Premier League forms, the Big 12 becomes the Big 12, the Southwest Conference ends, like
the BCS the
BCS ends up starting in number 1, number 2 didn't meet until the middle of the 90s, a couple years before the BCS anyways. But like in terms of rivalry games, it's like I obviously know that SC and UCLA split the Coliseum for 50 years, but like my brain can't comprehend that Alabama didn't play in Tuscaloosa. Why did I say Lucia? That's weird. In Tuscaloosa, I said it again. That's weird. In Tuscaloosa, regularly until the late 90s.
Mm-hmm.
That the Iron Bowl was always in Birmingham. Like that blows my mind. The Egg Bowl was always in Jackson. Like that blows my mind. The Civil War was in Portland for decades. That blows my mind.
Mm-hmm.
I can't relate. Irvine Cattle Ranch says, say, Jeannie, you look great in that Kiss t-shirt.
I agree. Jeannie, you look awesome in that Kiss t-shirt. You're rocking it.
Eric says the Narbonne High Football Stadium. I like to call it Brandon Manumiliuna Field. Yeah, that could work. That could work. Marcella says I need to go back to my Marshawn Lloyd drills. Yes, I can't speak. Cannot speak. All right, let's go through the box score a little bit. FC wins 29-10 over the Bruins. Jaden Mayaba, good, not great. Solid. 21 of 29, 257 yards, 2 touchdowns, completed 72% of his passes, passer rating of 169.6. If you were guaranteed that every single week, you would take it. He did throw the interception, which was not great, but got bailed out in a couple of penalties there. I thought he made the plays that he needed to make when he needed to. I thought he ran the ball well. He had a long of 21. He only had 10 yards in the game, but part of that is because he got sacked twice and a half. Because he sacked himself early in the game, in which he just ran out of bounds without throwing the ball away. But I thought he looked good.
I thought he looked really good. There were 2 things that I thought felt off today. Number one was him, the 2 times he chucked up the ball with apparently not realizing that the safety was there to either break up or try to intercept. He got away with both of them.
Yeah.
But I did not like the decision-making on those throws.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing is I thought he was overthrowing the deep ball a lot.
Yeah.
And that
I'd rather you do that than underthrow.
Yes, I'd rather you do that than underthrow. But at least an underthrow gives you like a YOLO ball scenario where Jacoby Lane can go up and see if he can just make the catch.
Mm-hmm.
Where he was really putting too much mustard on everything over the top. That felt like a first half thing. And USC, it didn't feel like they were attempting the deep shot as much in the second half, but I thought that was a good adjustment.
Yeah.
And in the second half, he was much more stable and accurate and just on top of things. So I thought he had a really fine game. The first half was weird because it's not like he played bad in the first half. He just missed a few that were probably there or closer to being there with a better throw. But it is funny that like we were watching the game and there was a lot of talk after that Mayava interception that got overturned, about like, get rid of Mayava and start Hassan Longstreet. And this performance, like to me, just proved again that, I would stick with Mayava. I know you don't want Hassan to transfer away. You certainly don't want that to happen, but to me, going into next season with the schedule that USC faces, with the importance of showing out and having a good season, I go with the veteran quarterback who has been playing for the most part all season at an extremely high level, one of the best quarterbacks in the country, certainly one of the best quarterbacks in the Big Ten. Mm-hmm. And, he has his rough moments, but I also think a lot of that was... I think with a more stable offensive line, we see what he can do when he's given a lot of time in the pocket. And unfortunately, for a variety of reasons, between just the level of play, the number of injuries, the switching in and out and all that kind of stuff, mm-hmm. USC's offensive line was functional, but not exactly like, I think they were neutral. They were like stock neutral, which I was considering where I thought they'd be. That was all great. Mm-hmm. But USC next year, I think you got to look at that offensive line and say, like, I want them to be a plus to the offense. I want them to be to add something to the offense. And I think that we will see Mayava take another step next season. We saw him take a huge step this season from last. Mm-hmm. I think he will take another step. Whether it's huge or just another step is... I don't think
it'll be the same type of step. But but if it's any step, I think that will be huge.
But a lot of that has to do with a more stable offensive line, a more stable run game would make a huge difference. Marcella says, and we all want to see Longstreet unleashed. I get that, but I don't know. Look around the country and see the first-time starters at quarterback that are out there, and... it's usually not that pretty. And I don't think USC can afford to live through Hassan Longstreet growing pains when they have Penn State, Indiana, Ohio State, Oregon, mm-hmm. Washington, and Notre Dame on their schedule.
Yeah. I obviously, this is just a hypothetical, but like, I think it would be interesting if we got some sort of word that Mayava wasn't coming back for whatever reason, I almost want to know that sooner rather than later, so that way you can see what Longstreet looks like in the Valero Alamo Bowl. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because the Alamo Bowl is a free game. Doesn't affect your red shirts. So, like, he can play. They don't have to worry about that. You no longer have to worry. His red shirt is guaranteed at this point. Mm-hmm. It's intact. So, like, they can use him as a gadget guy in the Valero Alamo Bowl. They can use him as the starter if Mayava couldn't go or didn't opted out or whatever it is, right? Like, they could do that. And, like, just because I'd like to see. At the same time, we saw what Miller Moss could do in the Holiday Bowl a couple years ago, and it was like the best of Miller Moss, and it made things easier to turn to him, but also, like, I think it did cover over a few cracks. So it's not a foolproof thing. So we did get a super chat though.
Hey,
from Fighting on MC, you guys are the best. Fight on until next year. Thank you. You were the best, always coming back.
You were always the best. Also, fighting on until December 30th, hopefully. We won't have another live stream until then, but we will have one more live stream this year, I suspect.
We'll have a live stream on Monday.
No, I mean like a watch along and a Carcast and all that, like the game day stuff.
Yeah, but people can come join us on Monday.
Yes, they should come join us on Monday.
Yeah.
We'll still be here on Monday.
Yeah.
Yes, but thank you. We appreciate you.
The other thing with Mayava is I do wonder what it's going to be like if he comes back next year, and assuming that Lemon and Lane are gone, which I think that's
a fair assumption.
I think that's what you should, even if it's wrong, that's what you should just assume.
Yeah.
If they come back, either one of them is a bonus. Mm-hmm. Lemon for sure should go.
Yes.
If Jacoby Lane comes back, it is a bonus. Mm-hmm. But how will Mayava fare without those two All-American type talents? I don't know. That's going to be a question.
I want to argue that today, I know it's UCLA's defense and it's not exactly a test, but like I want to argue today, the whole first quarter, he looked fine throwing to Tanook Hines and Jaden Richardson and the tight ends,
a lot
and
of
the running backs. Like
today.
I think that yes, I'm not trying to minimize Mekhi Lemon or Jacoby Lane, but like there was that run that USC had for a while where it was like, how are you going to replace Nelson Aguilar? How are you going to replace Robert Woods? How are you going to replace Marquise Lee? How are you going to replace Juju Smith? Like Schuster.
That's John Smith to you.
John Smith to you, yes. And I think that this coming recruiting class and this current receiving group, I do think that Tanook Hines has already shown us plenty of potential to be wide receiver one when he needs. Mm-hmm. If Lane stays, then I am very, very comfortable with those as a two. And then you consider that, I think Corey Sims is somebody that you need to keep an eye out. Zacharias Williams is someone you need to keep an eye out on. Also, Boobie Feaster and CJ Mosley both look like absolute studs. Mm-hmm. And I am quite confident that one of them will at least be the Tanook Hines of next year. So,
and we all know Boobie Feaster.
Yes. So yeah, I think I'm pretty confident with USC with the receiving game, but also like the bowl game could be a really big opportunity for USC to take because if we assume Lemon will certainly sit out and Lane probably too, this will be a really nice moment for USC to see what they have or see more of what they have in.
It's what we were saying 2 years ago.
Yes,
when SC went into the DirecTV Holiday Bowl, and they weren't gonna. Taj Washington played in that game, but like that was his last game as a Trojan. He didn't know what it was going to be like without him. Brendan Rice was leaving, and so it was going to have to be Deuce Robinson and Jacoby Lane and Mekhi Lemon back when they wore numbers that weren't the numbers that they wore now because they were true freshmen. Mm-hmm. I think that we sort of got to see how those guys played, and I think it went a long way into instilling confidence going into last season. Mind you, the receiving core was not great last year. Had a crap ton of talent, but they didn't play great last year. And this year was, they showed that they could still they could be great even with keeping two of the five guys that they had who were sort of the five starters that all rotated last year. So, let's get to the running game. King Miller, 17 carries, $124, 2 touchdowns, long of 41, which is a touchdown. His final carry in the fourth quarter. Average 7.3 yards per carry. He's now up to 873 yards for the season. Needs 127 to get to 1,000. He needs 114 to tie Ronald Jones' record for freshman rushing yards set in 2015. He looked fantastic. I think that the most impressive thing from him tonight for me was him as a pass catcher, especially because there was a moment in this game where you didn't see much of him, and it was those 2 drives in the first half in which stalled and they kicked the field goals. He gained -3 yards on those 2 drives combined, and it didn't really matter in the sense that, like, those were the drives where he got really involved in the pass catching game and the screen game. And, like, I like that. If he's not going to be productive for a stretch as a runner for whatever the reason is, because you go away from it, because the opposing defense makes adjustments, because he's struggling to see the hole, whatever the reason is, if you can still get productivity out of him as a pass catcher, that's fantastic. And I thought they did that tonight. 4 catches, 42 yards. He led the Trojans both in yards, not yards, but receptions. Jacoby Lane had 52 yards because he had a long of 28. But King Miller, 442 on the ground. So put that together. 21 touches, 166 yards, 2 touchdowns from scrimmage. That'll do.
I love King Miller. I love him. I said on the watch along that USC needs to give him a scholarship and then give him whatever NIL deal he wants and keep him, because if you let King Miller walk, I riot. And I think I'm hopeful of maybe Wayman Jordan coming back for another season. That would be a huge, huge boon for USC, because they could go into next season without really needing to even look at the transfer portal for once at running back. But for me, it that only is contingent on you keep King Miller, you get Wayman Jordan back, and then you ride with I don't know if Brian Jackson stays. If he does, that's great. But even if he doesn't, you got Harry Dalton and Riley Wormley coming through. Like,
Wormley looked good tonight?
Wormley looked good tonight too, yes. Yeah. So for me, I do whatever I possibly can to keep King Miller, because he, we can stop calling him, the walk-on. Dude is not playing at walk-on level. He is an absolute stud. And
Nick in the chat says, why would Waymo leave? I think the argument for Waymo to leave would be, to go to the NFL. I don't think he is ready. I think he could play there, in part because, I don't know, running backs, like, is so hard with draftability, and
Waymo,
I think he's an NFL guy.
Yes.
But does he need more tape? I don't know, maybe. I think that makes the more of an argument. I think there is potentially, if you're, and this is just absolute speculation that means nothing, so take this for what it's worth. This is just devil's advocate stuff. Maybe there's a world in which he thinks that this is King Miller's job to be running back 1, and so he wants to he would step away to somewhere else. I think that's a massive stretch. I also think that you're talking about like NIL stuff. Alicia, I think my hot take is, if you have to give one of them the bag, I think it's still Wayman Jordan.
Yeah, but I think you've already given Wayman Jordan the bag, and you just carry over the bag that he had this year, and you give Eli Sanders' bag to King Miller.
Yeah, in an ideal way.
Yeah.
World, yes. No, I agree. I just, I worry about another losing Quentin Joyner situation. At the same time, they lost Quentin Joyner and they replaced those guys so quickly that, like, there is nothing I trust in college football, not just in college football in general, but, like, especially USC and Lincoln Riley, because this predates Lincoln Riley at this point, is the transfer running back. So even if they lose King Miller, they will find somebody. Like, I think we can be very skeptical of SC's ability to bring in defensive linemen and offensive linemen in the transfer portal. They have not missed on a running back.
Yes, but here's the thing. The worst thing about the transfer portal is not being able to, like, create fondness for players. Because if you're fond of a player and they transfer away and then you get a new player and all of that, it's, I want to keep seeing King Miller be King Miller. And there's a conversation about King Miller. Marcus says King Miller is not even close to Wayman. Yeah, he's not. Wayman Jordan was a junior this year.
Yeah.
Wayman Jordan is like 2 years older than King Miller. Yes. King Miller was a redshirt freshman walk-on, making his first appearances in college of his career. So, like, yeah, I don't think that Wayman
Either way,
Jordan,
you want both.
You want both. And also, like, the thing about Wayman that you have to understand is into his sixth game with 576 yards on 88 carries, 6.55 yards per carry, 5 touchdowns, averaging 96 carries per game, he was well on his way to being a very, very highly ranked running back. Like, if he plays the whole season,
potentially leading the conference in rushing.
Yeah, he was a Doak Walker like quarter semifinalist or whatever the stage they were at.
Yeah.
So the question of, like, why would he leave? Because he's that good of a running back, and running backs have only a certain amount only a certain number of carries in them before they inevitably break down.
Yeah.
And he had 218 carries in the JUCO season last year. He was working his way up to having another 150 carries this season with USC, not even counting the receptions he was going to be picking up all season. So he, I think if he wanted to go to the NFL right now, because of his injury, his stock would be much lower than it is. But I think that he could very well look at it and say he only has so much time in his career.
Right.
He only has so much wear and tear that he can take. And you know what? Running backs,
you can go 7th round and 6th.
Kyle Monangai went in the 7th round.
Yeah.
And is tearing it up now for the Bears.
Yeah.
Woody Marks went in the 5th round.
I heard of that guy before.
Tearing it up for the Texans. Like, I think that if you are a running back, if you go to the NFL, you will find your spot if you're good enough there anyways. So I'm not saying he should leave. I think he should come back, because if he comes back, I think he's got first round ability, at his level.
Yeah. He really does look like a regen of Ashton Genty to me.
Yes.
And like, I know a lot of it is he wears the same number. He has similar dreads. He does the stand-up thing. Like, I know that's a big part of it. He's the Dylan Raiola of Ashton Genty's. But, like, he looks really damn good running the football too. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think if he comes back, obviously he needs to stay healthy, but if he does, I'm quite confident he'll be in the first round conversation, which is why he should come back.
Yeah.
Because the guaranteed money that you get from being a day one selection versus being like an undrafted free agent, which you might end up being, is just so considerable, especially when you can be in college and be making NIL money. It's not like it used to be where you go from making no money or money under the table to suddenly getting an NFL contract and that changing your life. Like, that's not so necessary.
I think the other thing is you definitely want these two dudes strictly because you need depth. We talk about it all the time. If you have 5 running backs, you need all 5 running backs because 2 or 3 of them are going to get hurt anyways. And this was a prime example of that this year, in which SC went out and got 2 transfer running backs. They hit on both of them. Both of them were successful.
Mm-hmm.
And both of them played 5 games plus because they got hurt and had essentially season-ending injuries. And so, like, that, you need the depth. You need the depth there. Nick in the chat says Eli Sanders for sure gone. Yes.
Yeah, he's out of eligibility.
Yeah, no.
So
no
unless something changes with eligibility rules, which who the hell knows?
Yeah.
He is unable to come back.
If he would have gotten hurt in the Purdue game,
it's so frustrating.
It would have given him grounds for a medical redshirt. Even the Illinois game. No, not the Illinois game, but it would need to be Purdue or Michigan State, and he would have been able to get it the 4th or 5th game.
Yeah. But I'll one more thing I'll say about King Miller, and I really don't want to like jinx him or anything like that, but we also have to give him credit for he carried the ball once he took over as the starter 18 times, 18 times, 18 times, 15 times, 19 times, 15 times, and then tonight 17 times.
Mm-hmm. Super reliable.
He stayed healthy pretty much the whole way through. I think that, if nothing else, I think a pairing of Wayman Jordan as your flash high level back and Kalon Miller as your steady Eddie number 2 would be fantastic. I just think that you can protect Wayman Jordan that way. You can still be getting really good level of play from King Miller. You can be swapping them in and out, and I just think it's a really solid pairing that I don't want to see go away, because I like King Miller and I like his story and I want to keep seeing him thrive.
Yeah, I don't even think you can say that he ever had a bad game. He had 15 carries, 30 yards at Oregon, but like I don't think that was because of King Miller. I think that was because of SC's inability to run the ball. And so, like that, I think that's a testament to a freshman running back with no experience who didn't have a lot of expectations surely before the season. So, like, yeah, absolutely. He needs to be on he needs something.
Yeah.
Like he's not an All-American or anything like that, but like you're not going to build a statue for it, but like
he'll be a freshman.
There needs to be some sort of like memento for this for everything that he did this year.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There needs to be something. A plaque. I don't know. Something.
Marcus in the chat said, Alicia, why are we 9-3 and not 7-5 like you predicted? I'll tell you why, because Jaden Mayava was a lot better than I thought he would be this year.
Was a lot better, yeah.
I mean, like literally, it's I'll say three elements resulted in USC being 9-3 instead of the 7-5 that I predicted.
Yeah, we did not have a lot of confidence before the season in Jaden Mayava, in part because of his performance in the SRS Distribution Bowl, Las Vegas Bowl.
His erratic performances the year before, some reviews that we were hearing from people from practice in fall camp, and also just, not being sure. It's not a video game. Just because you come back for another year doesn't mean you level up. You can stay static, you can get worse, and you can get better. And I think that what we saw from Mayava was better to a degree that I certainly was not predicting. I think he took leaps and bounds progress this season in a way that just completely elevated USC's offense to much higher heights than I expected. Yeah. Given that I also expected USC's offensive line to be really, really struggle bussy, given what they had been in 2024, given they had less depth, that they had lost their best lineman in Emmanuel Pregnon, and that they were looking at starting a walk-on center over the senior captain guy that they had brought in to replace him.
Yes.
The fact that in the fall, a walk-on redshirt freshman called Kalon Miller was battling Alani Noah, one of the offensive linemen that we thought was going to be a shoe-in, no-question starter, one of the few shoe-in, no-question starters on that line, that he was being pushed by a redshirt freshman walk-on that we had never heard of. That got my got my questioning up. And I think that Zach Hansen did an outstanding job with this line, given the injuries, given the players that he had available to him, their level of experience, their level of ability, all of that kind of stuff. I think they did a fantastic job to be as stable as they were this year, which gave Jaden Mayava a stable platform upon which to take his big steps forward. And then I think the big one is that in the second half of the season, USC's defense figured out how to be something in the second half.
I think that, Hansen deserves a crap ton of credit for everything with the offensive line. I will say I think the offensive coaching staff in its entirety.
The tight ends were better.
The tight ends were better. The receivers were better. The running backs were better. Like, everybody was better. Mayava was better. Like, from Riley on down on offense, I thought that the offensive coaching was fantastic. The only gripes that I have about USC on offense from a coaching perspective this year was play calling in key spots like in the Notre Dame game. Like, you know what I mean? And so, like,
costly play calling.
Some costly play calling there. But all the development, like, there's a lot of complaints about why doesn't Riley develop players and all that stuff. Look on offense this year. Like this was a prime example of where there were the developments. All those things 1,000% valid on the defensive side of the ball, right? 1,000% valid. I will listen to those things all day long. But, like, Mayava developed this offseason, right? The offensive line, I don't know on a per-player basis how much each of them developed because that's extremely hard for us to say. But
on a per-player basis, like, they don't grade out that well. Not from PFF, not from other people not from people I've talked to in terms, like, Hitler over at Addicted to Quack does, like, tons of charting and everything, every play, everything like that. He gets down deep into the weeds, and he felt like as individuals there wasn't much impressive going on with USC's offensive line.
Yeah.
But the results overall that offensive line produced as a 5.
Yes, and they got exposed against Notre Dame and Oregon, and I'm not going to sit here and say that that's okay. But given where they were at the beginning of the season and what we expected them to be, them pushing around Iowa and Michigan and Nebraska at times, like, and maybe don't include Nebraska in there because their rush defense has been an issue all season, but, like, they pushed around teams that you wouldn't have expected them to push around the way that they did. And next year, going forward, you hope that they have that success against Ohio State and Oregon and Notre Dame the way that they had success against Michigan this year. That's going to be the key growth area. But, like, they weren't a liability, and that they weren't a liability was huge. And then all the other spots really on offense really did develop up. Like we said, the issues, it's play calling. And so, like,
play calling and, like, shoot yourself in the foot kind of penalties.
Yes. Yes.
Turnovers were a big in the first half of the season. Fumbles were a big problem across the board for USC's offense.
Yeah, that hasn't been a thing,
and it hasn't really been a thing in the second half. So,
and I will say that the outside of the Oregon game, in the second half of the season, penalties haven't really been that much of an issue. There was 3 tonight, and so, like, I think that, like, this adds on to the whole progress thing because defensively the progress is there when you look at the second half. You only watch the first half, it's not there, but the second half, surely.
You want to know the some of the penalty numbers from the first 5 games?
Yeah.
5 for 45, 8 for 93, 9 for 103, 11 for 82, 8 for 69. Games after that, so starting with Michigan, 3 for 31, 1 for 5, 8 for 49, 4 for 30, 3 for 30, 8 for 103, and then tonight was like 3 for 20 or something like that.
That's a step forward.
Yeah, so penalties definitely, I mean, obviously the Oregon game is a big outlier.
Yeah.
The Nebraska game, there were many penalties, but not, like, huge yardage consequences. So yeah, the penalties definitely improved as the season went on, except for everybody in that stadium at Autzen, including the Ducks, losing their goddamn minds.
A horrendous game in terms of composure and discipline on both sides. Yes. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, defensively tonight.
We got a super chat.
Oh, you're right. We got a super chat from...
He's freaking awesome, dude.
From Darlene. Big ups. Thank you. Always appreciate it. She chimed in the chat that she's gonna call in with an Alamo. Oh, there we go. Hold on.
Oh.
Hold on. Wrong button. Valero Alamo Bowl, baby, or just Alamo? I don't know. I think this is the poll. We will put a poll. Let's start a poll in the chat.
My official vote is for Valero. I don't know how the cadence of that is going to go, Darlene, but I leave that to you.
I'm making this thing Alamo Bowl, baby, or Valero Alamo. I am. You know what I'm looking for. I'm looking forward to like emails and stuff from people who maybe are new to the show and like, why are they like such a like a shill for capitalism and like mentioning the sponsors and all this stuff. It's like, it's a bit. And it was a funnier bit with SRS distribution. Defensively,
another weird ass game.
Weird game. But they got home, and I think getting home was huge, especially in the second half. Without looking it up, maybe you already have. Do you know who led SC in tackles?
I just saw it.
Alex Graham. Yeah, 7.
And he had a tackle for loss.
Yeah, I
thought he was a good game. I've been wondering to myself for much of the year, how much of a miss was he? It was impossible to know because we'd literally never seen him. Mm-hmm. We just knew that he had won the job after Prophet Brown got injured. And USC was sort of contorting themselves positionally to fill that gap. In this game, I think he proved to me more definitively that, yes, USC's defense would have been much more stable if he had been available for more of the season. Now, obviously, you can't just one game or 2 games. He got a little bit of run against Oregon, but the sample size is way too small. But I will say what we saw from Alex Graham felt pretty solid. No real big complaints about his performance.
Yeah.
I liked what I saw. It bodes very well for next year.
Yeah, I thought he had a great game. I thought Conley had his moments. I thought he looked good at times. Marcellus Williams has been a guy who has not had the greatest season. He's ended up winning a starting job. He's battled as a young kid and sort of, played hard and been in there and gotten better as the season has gone along. He had a huge PBU in this game on third down that I thought was fantastic. And it's great to see a kid just sort of like pay off the season as it goes. I thought that was great. Desmond Stevens in the game had 6 tackles. G.J. Abasiri, fantastic. 3 tackles.
His best game as a Trojan by far.
Yes. 1.5 sacks. Can I tell you my fear about G.J. Abasiri? This is based on nothing. This is based on my global cosmic pessimism.
I am holding my breath.
I worry. He just seems like a guy who will be an All-American defensive end somewhere else.
Stop it.
I just get this feeling.
Stop it.
I know. You and I, for work, we worked on a thing with work with Fansided this week called Rivalry Week, and it was super fun to put together. Highly recommend. You should find the link and throw it in the chat. Highly recommend that people stop by and check it out. It was great, and we put a lot of work into it. You and I and everybody else on our team. But there is one of the games in which we looked at was Georgia Tech, clean old-fashioned hate. And there is an all-rivalry team. and seeing Jarvis Jones on the all rivalry team for Georgia Tech, it pained me. It pained me. I don't know. I don't know why. It's based on nothing. Absolutely nothing. But like if he won the Lombardi next year somewhere else, like I would feel like, yeah, I could have seen that. Yeah. Anyways.
I don't want to live in that.
I don't
in that
either.
reality, to be quite honest.
Pay the back. I thought he was impressive as a freshman last year in moments, and I think that he, if you're gun to my head, where are you going to distribute the NIL dollars on the line? I think Abasiri gets the biggest chunk for me, outside of obviously Stewart.
Jakeem, yeah. I mean, based on, again, what I've said about, I don't understand why they just simply don't just play Devin Tompkins at the edge, because he is so much more effective, and the line is more effective when he is at the edge, because he is just not a defensive tackle. Stop trying to pretend like he's a defensive tackle. Mm-hmm. My dream now is a defensive line of Jakeem Stewart on the edge, on the outside, Jide Abasiri, a slimmed down slightly and, more developed Ja Jarrett, and on the outside, on the other side, Shelby and Cam Crawford sort of being like a 1-2 punch there. I think that four could be really, really effective in next year specifically. It does kind of depend on Ja Jarrett, number one, being healthy, and number two, developing to the point where I think he can develop. I don't know how much time that will take. So
yeah, and then behind him, I want to see what Urlacher can do at safety. Can he? Is he going to be a Christian Pierce kind of guy, or is he going to like dev up and be a dude that can be Kamari Ramsey level? I don't know. It'd be cool if that was the case for the Trojans. You want to see Desmond Stevens take a step forward. The guys at corner, I think there's glimpses that we've seen with Conley and Marcellus Williams, but you need to see more. You need to see like 2 steps forward from that whole unit. Alex Graham coming back and playing tonight, I think is a good help there. But obviously, I think that they need more help in the transfer portal, and you got to hit on the dudes you get in the transfer portal, because DJ Harvey, a dude that you expected to be your rock star, Blackman, what's his face? Malachi Blackman, that you're just plug and play and not worry about corner. Yeah. And he wasn't that. So, yeah. All right. Any final thoughts? Alamo Bowl baby is winning the poll, by the way, 54%.
Okay, fine. We can.
Sorry, Valero.
We can plug in the Valero. Alamo Bowl baby. That might be funnier.
If Valero
actually
was more fun, it would have worked. Like, it's not Pop-Tarts or Cheez-Its or as ridiculous as SRS distribution.
Yeah. It's
just not fun.
Yeah.
No one likes going to get gas. Had to do that today, and it sucks.
Yeah. My overarching thoughts continue to be that I still just don't understand why USC's defense can't be more consistent from one half to the other. I would like to see whatever it is that USC has done in the second half. I would like them to just try it in the first half some of these times.
I will say that I think tonight was probably the closest instance of there not being as much of a change.
No, but
strictly because on a per play basis, not much changed. Outside of they stopped the run in the second half.
But stopping the run
is why they ended up getting the stops, because they created longer third downs.
Yes,
right?
that is ultimately the main thing, is that if you are able to stop the run better, you put teams.
Oh my God!
What?
Hold on. I have Google Sheets up. I will let Google Sheets do the math. You keep talking.
Okay.
Keep talking.
being even just slightly more solid against the run makes a huge difference. It forces teams to have to throw the ball, and throwing the ball is simply lower percentage, and it puts, most quarterbacks in college football aren't actually that good. That's why, again, I want to just point out, like, Jade Mayava is really good compared to most quarterbacks in college football. Even a talent like Nico Iamaleava, I give up on saying his name. Even a talent like Nico is going to miss throws, is going to be hurried, is going to make mistakes. And forcing your opponent to be in something closer to 3rd and 7 rather than 3rd and 3 because they've gained 4 yards every carry, or start every drive with a first down run of 5, it puts so much more pressure on the opposing offense. It is a massive, massive difference. And it is the difference between USC in the first half and the second half. Even if it's just that marginal thing, they averaged 5.3 yards per carry in the first half. They averaged 2.8 in the second half.
Third down distance. First half for UCLA. First half they go. Where is the quarter cumes? Here it is. First half they go 3 of 5, 60%.
Okay.
Their average distance was 5.6 yards to gain. 5.6. So third and medium, right?
Mm-hmm.
In the second half, they go 2 of 7. The average distance was 10.8. That's the game right there.
Literally, that's the game.
Yeah.
This is why USC struggled. And to be fair, USC offensively made it as hard for Oregon as most teams have done, playing, like, more difficult on Oregon than most of the teams that have played Oregon. USC passing did way better against Oregon than most teams have done against them in the last couple of years, let alone this year.
Mm-hmm.
But in the end, USC's inability to run put USC in 3rd and longs too often, and just statistically the probabilities go down. It's just that simple. And that's what USC did to UCLA in the second half. Forcing them into more 3rd and longs causes them to convert fewer 3rd downs, causes them to fall behind.
I have a question for you. How many carries do you think UCLA's running backs had in the second half?
Sorry, I saw it. It was like 12.
5.
Oh, 12 runs because of Nico.
5.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, the runs were because of Nico, not running back carries.
I choose not to run.
5.
Yeah. Well, but also you have fewer opportunities to run if you're getting stuffed on first down when you run, and then you're giving the ball away.
Well, hold on though, because Jalen Berger carries the ball 3 times in the second half. 1st and 10, gain of 2. 1st and 10, gain of 23. 1st and 10, gain of 4. Then there is Anthony Woods. 1st and 10, gain of 8. 1st and 10, gain of 2. It's a small sample size, but like there's a 20-something yard run and an 8-yard run in there of the 5 carries. So like I don't think there's enough to say that like that was just not going their way, but they did run the ball on first down there. And then
they
look
also
at Nico.
Fell behind by 2 scores, which caused them to just throw the ball more often.
Yeah, and Nico did not have a run on first down at all. His runs in the second half were 2nd and 2 picks up 0, 2nd and 8 picks up 3, and then 2nd and 10 picks up 10 for the first down. So, and that's with a minute to go in the game. So, yeah, SC, but this goes to what we have been talked about with other opponents, right? Because like we talked about, like the running backs themselves had gotten them their yards per carry averages. When you look at Nebraska and Iowa and Northwestern, Michigan, all those guys got their yards per carry averages, but like the total collection was down rushing wise in the second half. So. Yeah. All right. Any final thoughts? I'm getting tired. We've been streaming for 5 hours.
Yeah. My final thought is just to go back to I I think it's okay for two things to be true at once. The one thing for me is that this game did nothing to convince me that Lincoln Riley is going to be the guy for USC that brings USC up to national contention. That's just how I feel.
Mm-hmm.
At the same time, this was a objectively good win for USC, a necessary win for USC, something that goes in the plus column, that showed that USC's defense does have the ability to shut down an opposing offense if they do whatever they do in the second half, and that this win gave USC a 9-3 record, which is an objectively good record that shows real progress and puts USC on track to be closer to what I think they should be, whether it's at this stage in a coaching staff or just every single freaking year, you know?
Yeah.
So we can close on the super chat, but that's sort of where I'm at. Two things are true in my view, and I don't think those are contradictory feelings.
Yeah, super chat from Hokey
Cheers.
P, top Trojan fan. Here's to another year with the victory bell staying in cardinal and gold. Slight correction, cardinal and gold.
Significant correction, yes.
Yeah. He wrote garnet and gold. It happens to the best of us. For a second, I was thinking like we know that he went to Virginia Tech.
Are they garnet?
I looked this up. No, you want to know what their official colors are?
Sorry, I'm trying not to sneeze.
I will give you a hint.
Crimson?
Their two colors is not crimson. Their two colors are taken from other schools. You will understand why in a minute.
Alabama red? I don't know.
You're way closer than you think you are.
Georgia red? I don't know.
Chicago maroon.
Oh.
And burnt orange.
Are they really a burnt orange?
Yeah, I don't think of them as burnt orange.
That
I just think of
doesn't
them as just orange.
Yeah, that doesn't feel burnt to me.
That's not burnt, it's point. Yeah.
But
all right, a lot of talk about Mike Van Rapphorst in the chat and Carson Palmer. What a time to be alive, Mike Van Rapphorst. Big ups. I think is he slinging real estate in Newport Beach? Something like that.
If that's burnt orange, then what is just orange?
That's what I'm saying. Like Texas is burnt orange to me.
Yeah. Is this the same or
I don't
Sorry,
think it's the
I'm
same.
not I'm not trying to extend this out. We can end the show if we need to.
And then again, looking at their style guide, the three colors: Chicago maroon, burnt orange, and Hokie stone. Oh, and also yard line white. Okay, with yard line white is just all F's and hexes, which that's hilarious because that's just white.
I don't know, like the burnt orange.
The burnt orange, it does look like a little bit of a more sullen orange, a little less
it's
saturated
more brown.
orange.
Yeah.
But I still wouldn't call it burnt. So I don't know.
I'm looking at the official color palette for the University of Texas at Austin that's listed for their School of Engineering.
Mm-hmm.
The burnt orange on here is nothing like the burnt orange for Virginia Tech.
What's the hex code for Texas?
It is digital hex code BF5700.
BF 5000
5700.
Can I get this to? Okay, there's a stupid Google AI overview description. The Virginia Tech one is listed. The description is standard bright orange, whereas the Texas one is listed as a highly saturated burnt orange.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah,
Right now.
these are not. That is not burnt orange. Is
Yeah.
all I'm
Yard
saying.
line white is insane, Jacoby. Insane. Especially when yard line white is literally just white. It's Pantone PMS white. That's white, buddy. There's nothing crazy about that. Okay, before we wrap up though.
Cobra says no. Sorry. Paul says we need your final rotometer rating.
7.5.
Yeah, I'll go 7.
Okay.
I'll go 7 with a win to go 10-3, being capable of pushing me up to an 8.
Alicia, in the off season, we want to do a just naming some dudes pod again, but let's do this until you run out of names. Let's go.
God.
We're gonna have fun.
Before we do this, I'm just gonna put out there. 2 minutes ago, Pete Nakos tweeted, "Sources confirm there's a team meeting scheduled for 9 a.m. Central Time at Ole Miss. Kiffin has not signed anything yet."
Okay. So the chat says Van Raphorst.
Okay.
You go. You name a dude.
We're just naming a dude. Does it have to
USC
be a USC
quarterback.
dude?
USC quarterback.
Oh, USC quarterback. Okay.
Yeah.
Cody Kessler.
Jesse Scroggins.
Oh God. Miller Moss.
Rocky Hines.
Gage Roy.
Brandon Hance.
Sam Heward.
John Fox.
Morley Drury.
Kyle Walholtz.
Mark Sanchez.
Jimmy Jones.
John David Booty.
Jalen Green.
Rob Johnson.
Brad Otten says Ilium. That I was just gonna say Brad Otten. Let's go Sean Salisbury.
Mitch Mustaine.
Mike McDonald.
Garrett Green.
Paul McDonald.
Jalen Green.
I already said it.
You said Jalen Green?
I said it. Reggie Perry.
Okay. Rodney Pete.
Pat Hayden.
Did I say Rob Johnson?
You lost. Craig Furtick.
Did I say Rob Johnson?
No, but Rob Johnson.
Okay, Rob Johnson.
Craig Furtick. Mike Ray. Bethard.
Aaron Corp.
Chat said Corp. Yes. Hokey P says Mitch Mustaine.
I said
yes.
that one. Max Whittick.
Whittick. Yep. Sears. Fink.
Yeah,
Dart.
Sears.
Yeah. All right. Psychopath Sanchez says fight on it.
Good God.
It sucks.
I hate it.
It sucks that Mark Sanchez's reputation had to
especially because
I defended him so hard with the butt fumble thing because it was so dumb.
Well, it sucks because after the butt fumble thing and the bust perception and all that kind of stuff, I think he had rebuilt his perception. He was a really good broadcaster. People really liked him as a broadcaster. And then that.
I mean, Iliam says, he's no OJ. We'll end it there.
Yeah.
We'll end it there.
Ricky Town.
There you go. All right. We'll be back Monday. As always, hit the link in the show notes. Chime in with the Rotometer emails, rainftroy@fanside.com. Phone number, 818-643-7227. Until then, we will see ya.
See ya.
See ya. Shane Foley. All right, bye.